How we doing? My name is Ryan B. Hebert, and welcome to my Players Cup 3 preparation video. I'm going to coin that. Losses as learning. There are wins, and then there are learnings. I like that. Okay. Let's begin. First off, the first steps. If you're going to play in Players Cup 3, you need to do these crucial steps, or else you might be left in the dust. Number one, make sure your Pokemon Trainer Club account is linked with your Nintendo account. The reason for this is quite simple. They want to make sure that the birthdays on both accounts match up so that the player is actually old enough to play in the tournament. Technically, it is a Masters only event, so they want to make sure that you are old enough by linking the two accounts. Several players who qualify for the Players Cup event in the past have actually been able to qualify, but then have been knocked out of playing after qualifying because they didn't connect their Nintendo account to their Pokemon Trainer Club account before starting. Because they didn't link their Pokemon Trainer Club account to their Nintendo account. It's unfortunate, it's just how it works. Number two, sign up for the tournament in-game, whether it be Sword or Shield. On your Nintendo Switch, go into your VS tab and search online competitions. There will be a tab that says currently accepting. Click A on that tab and then follow through those steps to enter the tournament. Number three, make sure you're available. If you're not actually available to play through Thursday through Sunday, January 14th through January 17th, then you might have some trouble qualifying for this tournament. You're only allowed to play 15 battles per day, and if you, per chance, are not able to make the first day, those battles do stack over to the last day. However, you do not want to leave 45 battles to the last day up to the last minute. Remember, these battles do take some time, and you want the best chance possible in qualifying. After these logistical steps, it is time to find a team. The qualifiers are best of one, and this is what you have to remember. When making this tournament, you need to be preparing for best of one. What does this mean? Well, you could run a gimmicky team. That maybe could work. You could run Ally Switch, while against many players, to their dismay, that could work as well. Or you could build a team that could not only work in best of one, but best of three as well. And here's why. If you build a best of one team that works extremely well, and gives you multiple outs, it means that when you are playing in the qualifiers, you don't only have just one strategy to play with, you have multiple. And that is what makes a best of three team compared to a best of one team. Sometimes a player can get so focused on one type of idea or one gimmick that they don't focus on maybe building other strategies to beat other types of teams. If there's one thing about Series 7, is that there are plenty of strategies and plenty of ideas that players can bring against you in this online qualifier. Let's take a deeper look at some of the Pokemon available to us here in Series 7. Looking at the top Pokemon to consider, a big shout out to Pikalytics.com for providing this wonderful data that's put out by Pokemon Showdown every single month, but Pikalytics puts it up on their website in a way that players can digest, understand very easily, and it's just wonderful to read. Number one, obviously, is Incineroar. Now, comparing with the in-game ladder, because those results are also published too, Urshifu is number one. For Pokemon Showdown, let's just say this is for players rated 1760 and above, so players that are taking a considerable amount of time to play test and to try to get as high as they can on the ladder. This is no joking matter. Looking at these results, Incineroar is the top Pokemon for a reason. Obviously, Fake Out, Intimidate, it's typing all around. Since it was released with Intimidate in March of 2018, it has run rampant on almost every format that it's legal in. So it's no surprise that players should consider this Pokemon for their team and to go against this Pokemon. Players can probably find that this Pokemon is going to be statted very special defensively, as the meta right now has a lot of special attackers. These top Pokemon are more likely than not going to be some of the most common Pokemon that you will face in the Players Cup 3 qualifier. Are there Pokemon on here that are left off? Yes. I purposely only chose Pokemon that had a 10% or higher usage on Pikalytics.com. That's not to say that the Pokemon below that usage aren't being used. However, these are the top Pokemon above 10% usage across all teams, rated 1760 and above. Get familiar with these Pokemon, know what they do, know what their types are, know your matchups, and know their strategies. Glacier does really well under Trick Room. and because of its ability Chilling Neigh, if it's able to KO one of your Pokemon and you don't have a way to stop it from raising its attack stat, it's just going to steamroll through your team. Rillaboom loves to take advantage of Grassy Glide and grassy terrain. Figure out how to get rid of that terrain. Regieleki could either be run super offensively or as a support Pokemon with screens. Figure out which one it is and try to find a way to stop it. The Dark Urshifu is presented here first, and it's really hard to deal with. Wicked Blow will crit through any screen or boost that you try to put up in front of it, so you just gotta have to have a solid answer for this Pokemon that reaches a max speed of 163. Hint, Zapdos is really helpful against this Pokemon. Porygon 2, probably one of the best Trick Room setters in this format compared to Dusclops. However, its normal typing makes it very nice, and on the other hand, it has some great move coverage from Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Tri-Beam, and Shadow Ball. Now, I probably just got the Tri-Beam wrong there because I always get it wrong, but you get the point. Normal stab move that has a 20% chance to burn, paralyze, or freeze. It's insanely good. Landorus is making a return. Its Intimidate plus its ability to avoid ground type moves as a ground flying type makes it wonderful. It is very weak to ice types, and Glacier is very popular. And Porygon 2 has the ability to run Ice Beam. Be careful if you're using Landorus T. Now, Grimmsnarl has become way more popular after some Japanese players were playing with it, and then players across the world were like, yo, we should be using that too. It was popular in earlier formats and then sort of like lost traction, and then has come back more recently as a fantastic screens user, not to mention being able to paralyze your opponents or even lowering their speed with Scary Face, Taunting, Fake Out, Spear Break to lower the special attack, and as a stab fairy move. All around, Grimmsnarl's really good, and more recently, it's been used to Trick. Trick is a move where you swap items with the opponent, and so more recently it's been used to swap a Lagging Tail or full Incense onto an opposing Pokemon to make sure that they are the last Pokemon to use a move on the field. This is huge because no matter if you're in Trick Room or Tailwind, that Pokemon will be the last Pokemon to move on the field. So be sure to have a plan. Amoonguss is always going to be good. It's always been popular when it's legal, and putting things to sleep is its specialty. Not to mention its Rage Powder to be able to redirect attacks. Maybe having a safety goggles user on your team or having a way to stop Spore is going to be your #1 way to try to defuse the bomb that is Amoonguss. Zapdos, like I mentioned before, a wonderful counter to not only Urshifu, but also to Tapu Fini. It applies wonderful pressure, and its coverage with Heat Wave does amazing things to Glacier, along with fellow steel types such as Kartana and Celesteela, and, of course, Metagross. Dusclops has seen a drop in usage due to the fact that Porygon 2 is now here and ready to party. However, there's no reason to not give a good old glance at Dusclops. Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, Nightshade, Pain Split, Bulldoze, Ally Switch, Shadow Sneak, Haze, and more. Dusclops does it all, and whatever it needs to do, it's probably going to do it. As a ghost type, it cannot be faked out, so your only chance at stopping those status moves is to taunt it or get it off the field. Urshifu Rapid Strike. It has become more popular after Wolfie Glick winning Players Cup 2 with this Pokemon on his team paired alongside the one and only Colossal. Notice how Colossal is not in the top 10% usage of Pokemon on this graphic and on Pikalytics.com. It's better regarded as a fantastic tactic and idea for best of 3, and it's also a really solid Pokemon to use for best of 1. However, players are finding other Pokemon to use ever since the Pokemon has now won twice in a row. 2 championship teams from Players Cup 1 and 2 have both had Gmax Colossal with weakness policy. It works, folks, and so if you're looking to use Rapid Strike Urshifu, you might want to use Colossal. Moltres has been the talk of the town with its double spread dark move Fiery Wrath and the ability to use Nasty Plot, putting a weakness policy on it, Life Orb, even Leftovers. Whatever you want to do with Moltres, and it can do it and more. Some great partners include Raichu, Comfey, and even Regieleki. Spectrier is interesting because it can either be used as an offensive powerhouse or even used as a supportive Pokemon with Will-O-Wisp and Snarl. The offensive powerhouse, however, is usually known to carry Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, and even Hyper Beam. Super offensive, super strong, super fast, sitting at a max speed of 200. Venusaur, as always, paired with the wonderful Torkoal. Hashtag Venusaur no skill. I'm not going to participate in your tournament because players are unlucky and bad. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever the copy pasta is. Venusaur is a force to be reckoned with. Its Gmax ability to do wonderful residual damage with Vine Lash is why Colossal is so good. Anytime you're able to do residual damage to your opponents, it usually works out in your favor. Venusaur in Sun, whether it's going to use Sleep Powder and try to hit, or is going to be an offensive attacker with a powerful Grass, Poison, or Ground type move. It's just a hard-hitting Pokemon overall, and we've seen the shift of going towards a more bulky Venusaur, sometimes carrying Life Orb instead of that Focus Sash because they're just going so bulky rather than going super fast and super glass cannony, so to speak. Heatran has seen a rise in usage. Its Fire Steel typing is pretty helpful against a lot of the format. If you look at a lot of those top mons, Heatran actually is able to do quite a bit to them. With it being so weak to ground type moves, it makes it very weak to high horsepower from Pokemon such as Glastrier, Rillaboom, or even an Earthquake from Landorus if it's able to get it off. An Earth Power from Venusaur is also just as deadly. There's a lot that can go into Heatran, but at the same time, there's a lot of pressure that Heatran can put out that no other Pokemon can, just due to its typing. Torkoal being one of the second slowest Pokemon in the game, second to Stack Attack, and when it comes to popular Pokemon in the metagame, Torkoal provides itself as not only an offensive attacker, it can also be a supportive bulky mon with Yawn, Body Press, Burning Jealousy, and Protect. Torkoal has the viability to do amazing things, and with its ability Drought, it will instantly set up Sun on the field. Especially since it's one of the slowest Pokemon in the format, you can always guarantee that if you're leading with Torkoal, you're going to have Sun up first. And coming in last, but certainly not least, is Kartana. Kartana usually used with Assault Vest, with 4 moves such as Leaf Blade, Sacred Sword, Smart Strike, and, well, whatever last move you choose to do. Some use Aerial Ace to get that speed boost, or some others use Night Slash. It is a force to be reckoned with when in the right hands and on the right team. However, due to some of the Pokemon that are quite popular, such as Incineroar, Zapdos, Urshifu, it can be shut down very easily, so you have to use it carefully, and if you are able to use it carefully and successfully, it will do what you want it to do 100% of the time. Don't just take my word for it. I have spent time interviewing several top players and creators from all over the community, whether they're a big channel, a small channel, or maybe they don't even have a channel at all. Here's what they have to say. The most consistent team building advice I have for you from all of these top players is that they build a team that has a fast and slow mode. There's no either or here. There needs to be a specific role for every Pokemon on the team. You have to ask yourself, what is this Pokemon doing on my team? For what purpose does it serve? It's one thing to say, oh, Incineroar is good, but why is it good? Oh, because it has the ability to Intimidate, so it can lower the attacks of my opponent's Pokemon. Number 1. Okay, so you have something lowering the attack of your opponent's Pokemon. That's pretty good. It's pretty good for Glastrier, Landorus, Urshifu. That's great. It also has Fake Out. So it has Fake Out pressure. So first turn it comes in, I can Fake Out my opponent, and they can't use a move on that Pokemon as long as they don't have an ability that stops Fake Out, or if they're not Dynamaxed. That's great. So I now have Intimidate and Fake Out on one Pokemon. It also has the move Parting Shot. It's able to pivot as a Pokemon. Oh, so not only can it Fake Out and Intimidate, but it can also pivot to other critical Pokemon on my team if I need to just take that Pokemon out without hard swapping it. That's fantastic. What role does that serve? Well, it serves the role that I can now maybe have a Pokemon on my team to go along with Incineroar. Tapu Fini looks like a great Pokemon now because I can lower the attack stat of Kartana and then get up a Calm Mind and then try to sweep Kartana with Tapu Fini. And at the same time, apply pressure with Incineroar because I could Fake Out the Kartana that first turn and lower its attack stat. There are certain roles that each Pokemon can play. Porygon 2, for example, is a bulky Pokemon that can outlast every other Pokemon on your opponent's team if you set it up to do so. So let's say I set up a Metagross next to a Porygon 2. I get up Trick Room, I'm running a really slow Metagross. I start using Max Steel and Max Grounds, which will raise the defenses and special defenses of not only the Metagross, but the Porygon 2 itself. And so your opponent starts hard targeting the Dynamaxed Metagross. Well, at the same time, you're now setting up your Porygon 2 for an end game where they're not able to knock out your Porygon 2 because you've built up your defenses so much. You see where I'm going with this, is that you have to ask yourself, what is each Pokemon on my team doing? And then what is my team trying to accomplish? What are the win cons that I can use to win this game? And if you do that, you're going to find yourself in a really, really good spot. What's the difference between best of 1 and best of 3? Well, that's a great question. You have one opportunity versus 2 or 3 opportunities. Obviously, if it's best of 1, you have 1 game to decide who's going to win. If you have best of 3, you can lose the first game and then you have to win out the next 2. Or you win the first one, win the second one, and then there's no third game. You see what I'm saying? You have to prepare for your best lead and the best back. And if you don't, well, you might lose from what people consider turn 0. You and your opponent are in the match screen. There are 1 minute and 30 seconds where you have to choose 4 Pokemon out of 6 to bring to this battle. This is what is recounted as turn 0. How do you interpret or decide how your opponent is going to lead? Obviously, they're going to take a look at your team as you're taking a look at their team, and they're going to consider what lead is going to give me the best possible chance of winning, and then what do I need to bring in the back to try to secure that victory. For a lot of the time, Urshifu is a Pokemon that starts off in the back for a lot of players because they just have a really solid lead. These leads include Regigigas Weezing, Thundurus Nihilego, Porygon 2 Incineroar, Tapu Fini Incineroar. The list goes on. There are various leads, but if, for example, you're facing a Regigigas Weezing team, they might have Regigigas start out in the opening slot next to Weezing, which will cancel its ability slow start, so it becomes a highly offensive, highly dangerous mon in the first 3 turns of the game. They will probably have Urshifu or something else in the back to help clean up anything that Regigigas isn't able to eliminate in the first 3 turns. Keeping this in mind, you need to be prepared in best of 1 for that possibility and more. Best of 3 gives you a chance for a comeback, whereas best of 1 just gives you 1 chance overall to try to win the entire set. It's tough. And how do you overcome this toughness? Well, how do you get good? You gotta practice. Now, getting ready for an event like this takes time, and it takes practice, and it takes playing in lots of other events as well. And so there's a lot that you can do that's available to you to be able to do this. Taking advantage of the in-game Series 7 ladder inside Sword and Shield is fantastic, but if you want to try to test out new teams and stuff like that, it isn't the fastest way to go about it. PokemonShowdown.com is a fantastic simulator for players to battle each other, and that's where I got a lot of my data for today. So it's a great source for all of you who want to test out new teams, new ideas, that sort of thing. It's what you should be doing. Friends that play the game. Who's great at making friends? Now, I'm not saying that I'm not great at making friends, but if you've got friends in the community, which most people do, and if you don't, join a Discord group. Find the Discord group and contact me on Twitter, and I'll help you join a fantastic community. 1, 2, however many you like, I will make it happen. Playing with friends is fantastic because not only can they face you, but they can give you some critical advice on your team and how to make it better. Grassroots events, they're everywhere. Every single weekend there are grassroots tournaments happening all over the world online. That is one of the things about COVID that has been positive for the Pokemon community, is that there is now a huge grassroots scene online because there is no official scene besides these Players Cup events for players to play in. Obviously, out of necessity, players wanting to keep playing competitively have created grassroots events for players like yourself to start playing in. So head on to Twitter, head on to Facebook, and head on to the interwebs and find these grassroots events. And if you can't find them, well, reach out to me via Twitter, and I can put you in contact with the people who are running them. Simple as that. Some folks get together in building groups and more. Take advantage of all these things that are free, because most of them are. And, it really comes down to whatever you can do for yourself. No one is going to make you good. There is no magical way to instantly get better. Yeah, you could take a coaching session from former world champion Paul Ruiz or Joe UX9, top of the CP ladder in 2019, and lots of other players who are offering coaching, which is extremely valuable and does help because they have their own methods for how they help their students and their peers. However, the first step is you making an active effort for yourself. And if you don't do that, well, you're not going to get better. Simple as that. The most important thing, and this is what every creator and every coaching session will tell you and what they will do, is reviewing your battles, reviewing your VODs. Going back on Pokemon Showdown is one of the coolest things you can do for a battle because the possibility to do so is right there. If you want to go back and view what you just did in the past 5 turns after the game ended, you can do that. You can see what you did, see what your opponent did, see what you did right, see what you did wrong, correct those mistakes for the next time you come across that situation, because chances are many situations where you take an L, you're going to see them again, time and time again, because it's probably a really good strategy that works. course, next time, after taking a loss, you go back, review what you did, and maybe you change it up and figure out what you did wrong and how you can make it right so that you get the W next time instead of taking an L. There isn't anything wrong taking losses because they can only give you more learning lessons for the future. Don't think of an L as losses, but think of it as learning. I'm going to coin that. Losses as learning. There are wins and then there are learnings. I like that. Okay. But as I say here, failure is not bad. It's a necessary step to try and win. That's really all there is to it. And most importantly, this is probably number one, have fun. While there's a lot of serious talk that goes into preparing for Players Cup 3, if you're not having fun playing the damn game, then you're not playing the game. You're stressing yourself out for no reason, okay? There's not much that comes out of Players Cup 3. If you make it to top 4, you get a travel award for a future event, for a future time. And if you win the event, yeah, people will be like, oh my God, who's that person? That's fantastic. In order to get there, you got to pass the qualifiers. And that's what I'm here for. I want to help you get past the qualifiers to qualify in Players Cup 3. Remember, have fun. RNG happens. Bad luck can occur. The best players in the world can lose out because the luck just wasn't in their favor. And that's something you have to accept if you're playing Pokemon, because it's like playing the lottery. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And I cannot stress this enough. If you are in a losing position, continue to play out the battle as much as possible, because you never know when your opponent will throw, even if it's in the last damn turn. I cannot tell you how close I was in Players Cup 2 to forfeiting. And then what happens? My opponent threw in the last turn and I won the battle. Couldn't believe it. But if I had pressed forfeit, I would have lost. Don't let opponents pressure you into forfeiting. You never know what's going to happen in a battle. It's never over till it's over. Until that very last turn where the game says that you've lost, you keep going. That's the most important part. That is the most important part. Oh, and have some good internet connection, okay? Don't want to lose to a disconnect. Now, folks, that's it. Oh, look, it's me. Hey, Ryan, thanks so much for wishing me good luck. Yeah, folks, that's gonna be about it here. Good luck in Players Cup 3. I wish you well. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. If there's anything I could have done better, if there's anything you don't agree with, or if there's anything just in general that you want to ask me about, again, let me know in the comments below, or find me on Twitter at RyanPBHebert. I'll be on there. My DMs are open. Feel free to send me a DM asking me any questions you like. And like I said before, if you need new friends in the community, if you want to find Discords or different Pokemon communities to test with, team build, all that sort of stuff, please reach out to me either in the comments, Twitter, you know where to find me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Truly appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel, please press that subscribe button, like the video, and share to your friends. Let them know how to get better or how to prepare for Players Cup 3, because that's what I'm here for. For now, I'll see you next time, folks. How we doing? See you later.